Okay, everybody, it's just after 1 a.m. and I finished watching the live, Saturday Night Live. And Paul McCartney was there, of course. And I wanted to give you my thoughts on it, what I felt about this appearance. I knew going in, somebody who was kind of on the inside told me two songs that Paul was going to do. And I was wondering if maybe there's still a surprise that Ringo Starr was going to join Paul to sing that new song, Home to Us. A lot of us were thinking maybe that would be so cool. Maybe we were hoping. But that did not happen. But we got another surprise, and I'll talk about that. Okay. Anyway, first of all, Paul McCartney looked and sounded great. The man is pretty much 84 because he's going to be 84 next month. So looking and sounding great all around, I think. First of all, Paul assisted the guest host Will Ferrell in the monologue sequence. You know, Will Ferrell did his monologue, and Paul was a character in the audience, and then he came on stage for a while, and that was pretty humorous. I thought that was good. Paul's first song of the evening was the song from his upcoming new album, and that is The Days We Left Behind. And I thought Paul did quite a good job on there. I had already, of course, heard the record, so I'm very familiar with it. And it really was emotional and touching, which is what I like about that song. I thought Paul did a sensational job on that song. If I hadn't heard the song before, if I had never even known what it was about or anything, I might have thought that Paul's voice was a little strange, but because I know that's how he sings on the record, it's how it's supposed to go. Then there was some skits. You know, I got to tell you, the skits throughout the show. I'm one of the people who thinks that Saturday Night Live is not really funny anymore, hasn't been funny for a long, long time. Very rarely do I tune in. And when I do, I'm not really wowed by anything. I think this is where I sound like a prude, even though I'm far from a prude. They rely too much on sex jokes and talking about, you know, anatomy and stuff like that. I mean, that's what the writers do today. That's all they seem to want to do. But I didn't think the skits were funny, with an exception. There was a skit about auto mechanics, and guess who one of the auto mechanics was? That's right, Sir Paul McCartney, playing a British auto mechanic of a trio of mechanics. And I really thought he added a lot to that skit. Just to see Paul talking mechanic talk was pretty funny, and I found him very good. And you know, also Paul, quite a decent actor in the scene as well. Later on, Paul came back to do Band on the Run. And these are the two songs that I knew he was going to do in advance. I knew he was going to do The Days We Left Behind, and I knew he was going to do Band on the Run. I wasn't that thrilled that he was going to do Band on the Run because, I mean, it's just a song I'm kind of a little fatigued on, but it's a classic, and I thought this version was slightly a lower tempo than usual, not quite as rousing and quick as it usually is, but that's okay. I understand, and I got to say, although Paul, yeah, maybe he tended to warble a little bit, but I think overall, with the help from the band, I think that Paul did a pretty good job, especially for a man who's 84 years old. I think he really did pretty good on that song, all things considered, for his age. And again, as I said, he looked great. He looks great at this point. I don't know what he's done, but he looks better than he has in a long time. Also, I will say that his band was on stage, the usual band, except they didn't have Abe, the drummer, on there. They had the drummer for the Red Hot Chili Peppers accompanying Paul. Okay, and I have to say, the Weekend Update skit, I gotta say, I don't know the names of the guys. You know, this is where you show your age. You know, I don't know who the two guys who do Weekend Update are, but I've seen them before doing it, and I think they're really good. I like them. I think the Weekend Update is one of the best parts of the more recent Saturday Night Lives. Let's put it that way. And I think they bounce off each other very well, especially during that segment that they do. I've seen them do before, where they try to make each other like freak out or laugh, and they they have to surprise each other, and pull each other's chains. I think that's pretty funny. That worked out good. That was humorous. But the big surprise for me, and for I'm sure everybody, was at the very end of the show when the credits were about to come on. Paul went on the stage for one more number. Was it going to be Home to Us? Could it be that Ringo Starr is going to pop out at the very end, the last 3 or 4 minutes of the show? No. He did the song Coming Up, and that was the closing show, and I didn't expect that. I didn't hear that that was going to be done, so that was a surprise for me, and a happy surprise, because I like Coming Up, and I like Coming Up when it's performed live, and I thought Paul did a very good version of that. Very good. The only thing is, it was at the end of the show, and as he's singing Coming Up, all the credits are rolling, covering his face. Unfortunately, it was the credits sequence. Everybody was rocking and getting into it, moving along with Paul. But not only that, at the late in the song, it got cut off because the time ran out. So Coming Up was really a pleasant surprise. But maybe there's a version that's going to appear on YouTube, the whole thing, without the credits interrupting it. What do you think? Anyway, overall, Paul was quite good on this show. He looked good. It sounded pretty good. Pretty good for a man who's 84, I think. And the only thing is, the show needs to work a little better, get some better writers, but it had its moments as far as, some scripts here and there. That's it, folks.